Hello there, my friends. Good morning. Good morning. Counting down to 10 a.m. as we listen to my favorite Mr. Kenny G to lead us into the morning. Thank you, Kenny. And welcome, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to my live this morning, Monday morning. And I certainly hope and trust that you are doing phenomenally well. Coming off of a great weekend, I had a fantastic one. Um, our granddaughter, hosted an event for my all of my friends. So it was a case of the millennials coming together with the baby boomers. It was great. I hope your weekend was just as interesting and um, beautiful for you too. Great, great. Well, thank you for joining me. I always look forward to this opportunity. And today I want to talk with you about growth. Growth. How to promote yourself without feeling salesy. Um, Quick question. Have you ever held back from sharing your business because you didn't want to sound too pushy, too salesy, or fake? Selling can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be. So today I am going to show you how to promote your business with heart, confidence, and purpose. So your dream clients can seek you out instead of you chasing after them. I'm talking about real strategies like value first, content, magnetic messaging, and storytelling that connects. So, guys, stay with me to the end because I've got a free business startup checklist just for you. If you are getting ready to start your business, if you want a path to follow, a blueprint to follow, a track to follow, then in under 2 minutes, you'll discover how close you are to launching your business. Or if you have launched, you'll be able to know exactly what's missing. Hey, this is Jim Foster, the business training coach. Let me welcome you again. But I also want to ask you this. Hmm. How many times have you come across a salesperson who tries to sell you something that you really don't want? And despite your demur, your lack of interest, they keep pushing to sell you. Or maybe something you really wanted to buy, but you got so turned off by the salesperson's pushy and aggressive approach. So now you're on the other side of the fence. That is, you are in the position where you are the one that is doing the selling because now you have a business and you need to make sales, right? Sales is the lifeblood of business. But you remember those pushy salespeople, and that's not an experience that you want to give to your clients. So, how do you avoid it? How would you feel? Let me ask you this. How would you feel if the conversation that you had felt like a genuine connection rather than a sales pitch? Have you ever felt excited about sharing your expertise because it solves a real problem without worrying if you're coming off too salesy? That's what you would like to experience, isn't it? Okay, so let's talk about how to avoid that pushy salesperson who is aggressive with high pressure tactics to convince you to buy now. Let's discuss the damages that results from being too salesy and pushy. And I can understand why you don't want to take that approach. One of the first damage that it does to you and your brand is that you lose trust. You lose trust and they no longer trust your brand. They walk away from you. The second damage is what we call buyer's remorse. That is, when they think about it, they want to, they feel regret and they don't want to join. Okay, let me just let someone here in the lobby. Okay. So that's another of the damages that you face. Buyer's remorse, causing them to feel regret and cancel their order or ask for a refund. Now, another negative that you face is negative word of mouth. See, angry customers, they share bad news, bad reviews, and they scare away new buyers. 90% of customers who have a bad experience, they will never do business with you again. So it's important to avoid that. Then, of course, there's a legal side of things. You know, misleading pressure can lead to fines or lawsuits. And there are laws and regulations against that, especially now. People are very sensitive to that type of thing. There is a damage to teammate the morale. You know, high pressure, heavy culture burns out your sales staff and it hurts your company spirit. And if you are the head cook and chief bottle washer, that means that you do everything, then it's pretty soon it's going to burn you out and you get demoralized. Now, I want to flip the switch and look at things from the other side. And I want to share with you what we call value-based selling. This that builds trust. This formula can literally increase your sales. See, there are three things that you want to apply in value-based selling. The first is to listen. Be a good listener. And remember, I live by this formula and I share it with folks. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. So use them accordingly. You listen more than you talk, then that puts you in the driver's seat. The second is to educate them. Educate your clients. You know, talk about the benefits that they get from what you're offering. Talk about the value that it brings and how it makes them feel. That's the education part of it. And third, you propose a solution. You propose a solution when it fits. These three steps fosters loyalty, reduces refunds, and inspires referral. And yes, referral is what you always want in your business because you can get new clients for 20% the cost of what it takes to market yourself and find new clients. Now, when you do these things, the sales cycle might be a little bit lengthy. It might take a little longer to close the deal depending on the type of business that you're in. But which would you rather? Having a deal, waiting a little bit longer to get the deal and having it stick, having it stay on the books and keep on paying you, or rushing it and having it go on only to fall off? The beautiful thing too is that these customers who are satisfied, they become unpaid advocates and they provide you referrals. Now, let me share with you. By the way, does that make sense? Am I making sense with what I'm sharing with you? If I am, then go ahead and put a 1 in the chat box and let me know that you are with me. Okay, so let me now share 5 ways to sell without feeling too salesy. First, ask, don't tell. Lead with questions about their needs. Questions such as, so what's your biggest challenge right now? What are you looking into? What are you looking to accomplish? And then you guide the conversation leading into pitch. See, when you ask questions, you are inviting their involvement. And when they're involved, then that is when they will actually sell themselves because they have more of an open mind. The second thing that you want to do is to give first and ask later. Always offer a free resource before talking about your services. People buy when they have already seen value. It could be the tip that solves a painful problem. You could do a 60-second Instagram reel showing, hey, 3 quick tips to nail your first call. I give away a free start, me, for myself, I give away a free startup checklist for newbies to business. And then I just created the CEO dashboard. That's a business tracking template. And this is for emerging business owners. They will find it exceedingly valuable as it is designed to keep them accountable and it's useful when they are stuck. Okay, so those are some of the benefits that you get. But now here's another one. Words, your words. Remember this. Words matter. So use them carefully and wisely. Use what we call magnetic messaging. Your message should always answer what's in it for them. So frame it around transformation. For example, from overwhelmed to organized, from hidden to irresistible. Stuff like that, it motivates people and it gets them thinking. And they start looking at what you're offering from a different perspective, which leads them to buy. Now, here is a big part of it. Share hopeful stories of customers who benefit from you. Use real client wins to illustrate your point. For example, let me share one of my testimonials. When Peter came through my training, he had more clarity and increased his closing ratio by 20%. That's what he said in the testimonial that he gave me. See, that's proof, not pressure. Those are the kind of things that you want. Speak their language. So how do you do that? Speak their language. Well, let me give you a little insight into that. You basically mirror the words and concerns that they use. Repeat it back to them using the very words that they use. So, for example, if they talk about crunch time, then use that phrasing because it shows that you're listening, you're not selling. The last one I want to share with you, and this goes right to the heart of the topic that we're discussing. Invite, don't push. So frame your offer as an option. You might say something like, if you like to dive deeper in, I'm here to help, rather than saying you need to buy now. Keep it friendly and low stakes. Now, depending on the type of business that you have, it's important to incorporate some storytelling. Now, here's why. Story bridges between you. It builds a bridge between you and your customer. And this is how it helps you to close your sales. First, it creates an emotional connection. You've heard the phrase, facts tell, stories sell. See, a well-told tale taps into the emotion, the hope, the relief, the excitement, making your solution feel personally relevant rather than just another product. And that lived experience validates your promise. That's one benefit. And a second benefit, because it creates memories that stick. Memorable stories stick. Your pitch might be forgotten, but a relatable narrative, complete with character and conflict, will live in their minds. I'm going to share one with you in a moment. It helps you to overcome objections. When you frame a client's hesitation as part of your story, you address doubts before they even pop up. And how about this? It's a catalyst in your call to action. It ends with your hero's success, and that naturally invites your prospect to imagine themselves in that role and act accordingly. So let me share a story that literally changed my life when I started selling life insurance over 50 years ago. That's a story I've never forgotten. So it changed my life for the better, and by extension, it changed my client, who was my brother, and his entire family forever. You see, when I first started, I was hungry to get some sales. One of my prospects was my older brother, Ferdy. He had a young family. His oldest son was about 4 years old at the time. And I always remember Neil because his birthday was one day before mine. His was the 4th of March, mine is the 5th. So I approached my brother. I approached Ferdy to sell him some life insurance to protect his young family. He responded to me. I'll never forget what he said when I presented the benefits and got down to the close. He said, Jim, you know, I don't believe in life insurance, but because you're my brother, I am going to buy this policy to give you the benefit of the sale. Wow. My response? Well, Hayford, thanks. But you know the truth? I don't care why you buy, as long as you buy the policy, because it is worth having. You have a wonderful family and they are worth protecting. Okay? Fast forward 8 months later. The day was a windy day. I still remember it as if it was yesterday. I got a phone call from my brother. Now, Neil at that time was in infant school, daycare. At that time, they were outside playing. Pretty soon, the teacher brought them inside because now it was getting unsafe with all that wind. And one of the girl was missing when they got inside. She had not yet come in, and Neil, being the kind of young man that he was growing up to be, he went out to look for her. And you know what? Unfortunately, the limb of a tree broke by the wind. It fell on top of him, killing him instantly. Oh my goodness. I still remember when I got that call from my brother. It simply said, Jim, Neil is dead. I didn't understand what he was saying. What do you mean Neil is dead? And then he told me the story. Of course, we rushed over to his house, which was about 2 hours away. I still remember to this day, 50 years ago. We all huddled in the living room that night. We cried together. We mourned. We supported each other. The funeral was held. And I know at the time that Ferdy did not even have the money to cover the funeral cost. But we all chipped in. And then I helped him to file the insurance claim. Let me tell you about the policy that I sold him. It covered him, it covered his wife, and his 2 children, and any other children that were born after the policy was in place. I sold him coverage that I know was good. The claim settlement from the company was delayed by about 3 months because the policy was in force for less than 2 years, and that's a condition. They call it a contestable period, that first 2 years. So it had to be investigated. And even though it was an accident, but then the claim finally was settled and the payment was made. Those were the bad news. But you know, there is a saying, out of adversity comes benefits. Let me share the good news that came out of this. And please don't get me wrong, but it's life. It's the way that it is. And we have to accept it and keep on going. My brother was working at a job that he really didn't like, and he wanted out. He wanted to get out to start his own business. What do you know? The proceed from the life insurance policy on his son that I sold him gave him enough money to purchase the business that he was eyeing, the business of his dream. And that business went on to become very profitable. It changed the pattern of the entire family's life. The rest of his kids were able to go to the best schools. They were able to travel. They were able to do things that he always wanted to do but had to struggle because of limited earning. He later became one of the prominent businessmen in the city and was well known across the whole country. Unfortunately, he passed away during COVID. Not from COVID, but during COVID. When I tell you that at that time, people didn't go to funerals, but over 12,000 people attended the online memorial service from 5 different countries around the world. I thank God to this day that he said, Jim, even though I don't believe in insurance, I will buy this policy. That changed his life and his family's life forever. After that incident, I used storytelling, and that story helped me to sell tons of insurance that got me membership in the prestigious Life Insurance $1,000,000 Roundtable. Yes, it was based on fact, but it was not the fact that those policies were sold. It was a story that I told that convinced people and made them buy. They saw the benefits. They were able to put themselves in the shoes of Ferdy and be able to take advantage of it. All right, everyone. I know that's a touching story. It still tends to bring tears to my eyes when I relate that story, but that's how powerful it is. So now that I've shared it with you and you know the power that comes with storytelling in your marketing and in your sales, then we have come to the end of our time together. And I hope that you'll walk away with a fresh perspective on how to grow your business without ever feeling salesy. Remember, it's all about serving first, sharing stories, and inviting people, never pushing them down your funnel. The truth is, your business can't grow if no one knows you exist. But selling doesn't have to feel like selling when you show up with value and authenticity. If you're ready to put these ideas into action and really kickstart your momentum, I'd love to invite you to my 5-day fast start challenge. That's exactly what we do on day 4 of my 5-day fast start challenge to success. We map out your promotional strategy from finding your ideal audience, speaking directly to their pain, and making irresistible offers to become their go-to expert and unforgettable brand. Now, we launch officially the 26th of May. That is next Monday. And every day you get real practical action steps to bring your dream business to life fast over 5 days. And one of the reasons why I did this challenge, let me just tell you, because I found that there are people who are ready to get started in their business and they don't want to wait months or years to get going. They have been through that agitation process. They've prepared themselves and now they're ready. They just need a blueprint to be able to start. So the concept behind the 5-day challenge is to give you an overview of the business journey so you know what to expect. And it gives you that step-by-step process, that blueprint that you can check off as you go along. And then it provides you with an opportunity to do a deeper dive and in working with me. So go ahead and register for this challenge so that you don't have to be guessing, but you can grow with intention. And of course, the registration is there in the link. The link is in the chat. Go ahead and register for it. Don't forget your free startup checklist that I promised you at the beginning of this talk. It's a perfect way to see exactly where you stand and how close you are to fully launching. Or if you launch, you can see the next step and what mistakes you have made and how you can correct them. It will clarify your why. It will nail down your purpose. That makes your message irresistible. Among the other benefits that you get from it, mapping out your audience's value. Learn exactly what your prospects care about most. You're not just setting up shop and hoping, but you're crafting your story. You're building a narrative that connects with them on an emotional level. You get help with designing your first value offer, packaging your expertise so it feels like a gift, not a pitch. You invite with confidence, mastering the closing script that feels natural and leave people wanting more. I hope you feel this way after listening to this talk. So we kick off next Monday, May 26th, and boy, I'm looking forward to it so much. It's only $97 to join. That's less than what you'd spend on a good night out for dinner. And we'll walk away with a complete roadmap to promote yourself authentically and start seeing real results. So, if you are ready to stop feeling salesy and start feeling confident, and if you are serious about growing your business this month, click the link in the chat and register. Register now and reserve your spot. I'd love to work with you inside the challenge and see the transformation that you experience. Thank you so much for your time today. Go ahead and sign up now, and I'll see you inside the 5-day Fast Start Challenge. Let's make this your best month ever, ever. Yes, you've got a message that the world needs. Let's help you to get it out there with confidence and results. Thank you so much. I'll see you inside the challenge.